improve. You're trying to learn from last game. We made some mistakes in the Virginia game that if we are going to advance both in the ACC tournament and any type of postseason, that we have to clean up. We have some guys that have, haven't played college basketball a lot, and you get exposed on a straight line drive, or you miss a block out, or you foul a jump shooter. Like to be able to clean those things up, and be at our best. And that's what we're aiming to do.
And
Chris, if you wouldn't mind, can you kind of take me back to that hotel in Greensboro last year when everything kind of came to a halt, and just your kind of emotions? Can you remember those?
Well, in the lead up to the actual announcement of the ACC tournament being canceled, there was a lot of speculation, if you remember, the night before, Rudy Gobert, NBA canceling games. It just, everything happened so quickly. I think by the time the Carolina-Syracuse game was over and we really started to prepare for Syracuse, the word was out there weren't going to be fans. And that was sort of difficult to wrap your mind around. And then one or two of the coaches, I think when we were meeting, said they would bet $1 to a donut that we weren't going to play games and the tournament was going to be canceled. And I just remember thinking, like, get out of here. No way. And, that's exactly what happened. It was one after the other, one conference tournament making the decision, then the next one making it. I think the ACC, I could be wrong, but if memory serves me correct, were one of the last tournaments to cancel. Clemson and Florida State were actually on the playing floor. And we had not gone to our shoot around just yet because that was a noon game and we didn't play until later on. So it was just, it was hard to believe. And then, you're sort of trying to figure out travel plans and what is going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen with the NCAA tournament. Are they going to, try to figure out what we can do to salvage that? And very quickly in the next 2-3 hours, we got word that was canceled. And I didn't find out until just seeing it on the bottom line of ESPN. And that was really hard to swallow. It was a very tough few days. I'm surprised we're going back to the same hotel, to be quite honest.
Shannon?
Going back to what you said about having a youthful team, the season is obviously very different because of the many games you couldn't play because of COVID. So how do you kind of reconcile having a team that's still trying to find its potential, but here you are at the conference tournament? I mean, how do you kind of guide them through this week and beyond?
Yeah, as best we can. I mean, we've got to be able to learn from our past experiences, both positively and negatively, and get ready to play the winner of Boston College and Duke, and not necessarily reflect back and think about what we missed or what we could have done. We've got to be ready to go on Wednesday. We had a really good practice yesterday. I'm hoping for more of the same, and then we'll get on the plane and get tested and be ready to play tomorrow afternoon or early evening.
Tim?
Yeah, Chris, as well as Duke and Boston College, what goes into the scouting of today's game? Do you have separate coaches looking at each team, or will you pay much attention to this knowing that what you already know?
No, we'll definitely pay, obviously really close attention to their game. You can't scout in person, which is something that's different this year, unless that team's playing in your same session. Or those two possible teams are playing in your same session. Being that they're playing on Tuesday, we're not allowed to go in person. So we opted to, instead of leave 2 days before the tournament, leave 1 day before the tournament, lessen our exposure being in a different place. We have different coaches that have scouted Boston College and have scouted Duke. And so it'll be just sort of a refresher for our guys later on tonight after the game's been played. And we've sort of prepared a little bit for both teams here in the 2 days leading up to tomorrow.
Have you assigned a specific coach to watch one team or the other?
We do that earlier in the year, Tim, before once the
Mhm.
schedule's sort of made out, so that the same coach doesn't necessarily have 3 games in a row. I try to keep coaches on the same programs from year to year, but that's not always possible because in one year you might play a team, 3 programs back to back to back, and it's just not possible, at least the way we do it. So yeah, those scouting assignments are set prior to us even playing the first game of the year. And now, for instance, Coach Gaudio has the Duke scout. He knows them inside and out, and he will be the one that sort of delivers personnel and a lot of the things that we expect to see on the offensive and defensive ends.
Who has Boston College?
That's Coach Mike.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Matt?
Hey, Coach, this is Matt McGavick with Sports Illustrated. A lot of teams across Division I this season have played 25, 26, 27 games, whereas you guys have only played 19. That combined with the fact that you do have a young team, do you think that you guys have generated enough experience over the course of the season to be able to make a deep postseason run?
It remains to be seen, but I think, tournament play is all about, being connected, playing your best. I think we have a very close-knit group. I think we have a hungry group. So, we'll figure that out on Wednesday. But, I can't worry about, the number of games we've played and whether that equates to enough experience. We got to go out there and be the harder playing team. That's something that we can control. Can't control how many games we've played or how many minutes we've played. So don't really worry about it a whole lot.
Kent?
Chris, Sam really seems to be responding from that mid-range spot. You guys have put him at offensively. How are you really pleased with how he's kind of playing at the most crucial time?
Sam's done a great job for us. I think early on in the year he wasn't finding his way very well, and to his credit, he never stopped believing and he's never stopped working. I've said it in other press conferences. He's as hard of a worker as I've been around. He's a guy that gets in the gym in the morning. He'll stay after. If we would open up the gym all through the night, he'd be, back here at 9 p.m. if he could be. He puts a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of hard work into this game. And it's really paid off in a big way the last couple of months. And we got to continue to try to find ways to, get him in that spot because he's certainly really effective and he's doing a lot of other things, like rebounding and defending that have really helped our team as well.
And just as a quick follow-up, just how crucial was that to get somebody else to be, contributing, on a regular basis along with, your backcourt guys?
Yeah, I mean, to get anybody to be really consistent is a plus for any team. And that's really who Sam's become. He's become a consistent guy for us. If you remember back at one point, we brought him off the bench because he wasn't playing very well. And loved the way he responded. He's kept responding, put him back in the lineup. Nothing's changed. And I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. He's a big part of our team, and I'm happy for him.
Tim, did you have another one?
Yeah. You may have addressed this earlier, Chris, and if so, I apologize. But when Carly came out of high school, obviously not very heavily recruited, he was right under your nose. What about his game did not thrill you at that point, and what has he done to elevate himself since then?
Well, I think that, Carly probably be the first to tell you, he wasn't a slam dunk, Tim, to qualify for college. He obviously had to sit out his freshman year at Radford. And so to say that, hey, we're going to take a guy that we don't know if is going to qualify, we weren't willing to make that gamble. Having said that, I don't want to put it all on the academics because basketball, he's 6'1". There's a lot of 6'1" players around the country that have really good high school careers and don't have nearly the career that Carlik's had in college. So it's sort of the combination of the two, monitoring the academics and not necessarily seeing, something that really stood out. And obviously he had a great senior year, terrific senior year. And then he manifested that into a great, first playing season at Radford, and then ultimately a great career. So, we were recruiting other guys, Quentin Gooden and Paul Scruggs, and guys that had really good careers at Xavier. So I don't know if we necessarily made the wrong decision. It's really worked out for Carlik. He had an unbelievable career at Radford. He got his degree, and first team All ACC. So I think everybody's path in life is a little different, but I don't have any regrets in how we handled it because I think no one really had a crystal ball at the time.
Right. How has his game grown since that time? What does he do better than he did in high school?
Well, I think that when you take a step up in competition, you're going against bigger players and stronger and more athletic. You're not necessarily sure how a guy will respond. Mm-hmm. And Carlik just really understands how to play, how to use his body, how to keep guys off balance better than most. And although you could see those things in high school, it was against high school competition. Mm-hmm. He's been able to continue to do that no matter how big someone is, no matter how strong they are. And, it's not just evaluating a guy's, shooting ability or his vertical, but his understanding and IQ of the game. And a lot of times you don't necessarily see that against the higher end competition. AAU a little bit, but he wasn't like he was playing on a big AAU circuit, big AAU, shoe deal. So, it's a challenge. And so that's why I think sometimes those needles in the haystacks happen. Mm-hmm. He's a phenomenal kid, and he's been unbelievable to coach. And I keep saying how much humility he has for a guy that's first team All ACC, and has been a huge part of our team.
One last thing. Is it conceivable that he could come back next year?
It's conceivable. I think what he'll do is, like all of our seniors, sort of sit down and see what his options are, and, talk it through with his family and people that are close to him, as well as his coaching staff, and he'll make the best decision that he can for himself. So, I think he's open-minded, but that will get visited here when our season comes to an end. Hopefully not for another month.
Thank you,
Coach. Thank you for your time today. That'll end our session for today.
Thanks, guys.